Legend Total War here, and today we've got a rating your Doomstack video covering a Knights of Caledor Dragon Prince Doomstack, going up against two armies of the unknown Skaven clan from the Vortex campaign. So this is probably going to be one of the last, if not the last, Warhammer 2 rating your Doomstacks, just simply because I don't think there's any Doomstacks left to cover. Any of the sort of Doomstacks that I'm sort of receiving at the moment they're just not Doomstacks at all. They're just armies that people like, they send it in, and I'm just like, it's not really a Doomstack, and I just don't think it's worth making a video on. But this one here is a spam of one unit. It should technically be very strong. Just because I've got an aversion to Dragon Princes doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. So I want to try to give it a fair go. So just having a look at the various things that we're dealing with in this particular battle. We are caught in force march. The guy said that they wouldn't attack him unless he was on force march, so fair enough. You know, you need to allow for an appropriate sized battle. Another thing is that he sent it in on hard battle difficulty. I don't care about campaign difficulty, but battle difficulty needs to be on very hard. Because that's what all of the other... I don't care about saving disaster battles. Send it in whatever battle difficulty you want. I don't care. You know, from easy to very hard. Most of them should be on very hard, but, you know, sometimes we get the odd normal battle difficulty. But when rating Doomstacks, it always has to be on very hard battle difficulty. Otherwise, it's not fair to the other ones that were on very hard battle difficulty. Going up against two armies here, pretty standard sort of Skaven forces, you know, a lot of anti-large in here, missile units, artillery, standard sort of stuff. Let's jump in here and rate it. Now, I think it's really important that if this is going to be the last one for Warhammer 2, we sort of rate this as fairly as possible. Because in the past, you know, I've had cavalry-based Doomstacks come in, and I basically got pissed that they were sent in, and so I would just use the wizard to wipe out the entire army and not even use the cavalry. Blood nuts. Obviously, we don't want to do that. If we're going to do a test, it doesn't actually matter whether we win or lose. It just needs to be adequately tested. So what I'm going to do here is not use any of the heroes. Now, I believe that the noble is crushing. That's his trait. Which gives, I think, 10% charge bonus and 5% weapon strength. I think that's good for the Doomstack. This one here, I think, is resilient, which gives it like a whole bunch of personal stats, but doesn't actually boost the army at all. If you're thinking of resistant, that only handmaidens and lords provide that. Obviously, we want Imric to command this army here because he is the, you know, the Dragon Prince dude. So we're going to keep these out of combat. I'm going to try to put them down here so hopefully they'll be hidden. Because if I use the Fire Wizard here, we could obviously very easily inflict hundreds, if not 1,000 kills with her, making their job very, very easy. We don't want to do that during a rating your Doomstack video because the Doomstack needs to be going up against a large amount of force. Now, in terms of how we're going to rate this, I really want to make it clear how things go. Because in the past, I've given things a rating, and some people think that I've been unfair. But a lot of the time, it doesn't actually matter whether or not we win the battle or not. There's loads of little factors that I just don't really talk about that factor into, you know, the arbitrary number that I give it. And a lot of people, if they like a Doomstack, they're hoping that it gets a 10 out of 10. Now, here's the thing. In order for a Doomstack to get 10 out of 10, there's a lot of boxes it has to tick. It has to be very easy to use. It has to be basically foolproof. It has to be able to beat practically anything that you're going to go up against. And it's got to be actually practical to recruit. So already, there's a lot of things with the Dragon Prince Doomstack that's not really optimal. So Dragon Princes are a tier 5 unit. They're recruited from a building that I don't consider a high priority to recruit. They take a long time to recruit. And they're really bad at sieges. It's very important that your Doomstack be able to handle all situations, whether that be sieges, field battles, ambush battles, you know, anything really. And one big weakness to cavalry-based armies is, you know, what are you going to do when you go up against a siege? Because, you know, if there's one unit of anti-large units just sitting in front of the gate, what the hell are you going to do? Obviously, you can use the wizard to damage them a fair bit, but if you run out of magic and there's even just a few spearmen left, you're going to get wrecked trying to get through the walls. And then, if it was the case that you just used the wizard to win that battle, then do you really need the Dragon Princes? Now, another thing with this is Imric is, you know, the Dragon Prince dude. He boosts the Dragon Prince more than anyone else. But he's also the Dragon dude, and he boosts dragons by a ton. And dragons, there's a lot more utility with dragons than Dragon Princes, because for one thing, sieges are no problem with dragons. But also, life magic complements dragons way more than fire magic or even life magic complements Dragon Princes, because dragons can be brought down to 1 hit point and then healed to 75% of their maximum health. And they can go into a battle damaged and end the battle at full health. Dragon Princes cannot do that. If they walk into a battle at 50% strength, the best that you can hope to do is walk out of that battle at 50% strength. They cannot recover their entities during a battle. If a entity dies, your life magic isn't going to be able to revive it. And, you know, each individual soldier has about, what, 110 hit points, I think? If my maths is right, which it might not be. Which isn't a whole lot. You know, there are some missile units or artillery that have way more damage than that and can one-shot a Dragon Prince, whereas there's basically no weapon in the game that can one-shot a dragon. Actually, there is. It's Imric. Imric can one-shot a dragon, pretty much. Okay, so what we're going to do here, I'm going to try to fight the battle as best as I can. I'm only going to use the Dragon Princes, and we'll see how well they do. Things that we want to really be looking forward to here are how much damage they do on the charge to missile units, to artillery units, and to melee infantry. How easy it is for them to break melee infantry, and how much damage they actually take from units, and also how much I have to micro to do this. The 10 out of 10 armies are always like, I click one button and then just wait and win, right? You know, how many clicks am I going to have to do to win this battle? Okay. Because like I said, the 10 out of 10 Doom stacks, they're idiot-proof. And I want to ask you guys the question after the end of this battle. Do you think that this army is idiot-proof? You know, if your micro is 1 action per minute, would you be able to use this Doomstack on very hard battle difficulty against this situation and not lose your entirety of the army? Alright, so what we're going to do here is feign the charge into the center, because I want all their missile units to run around the back. These guys here go around the back, go after the artillery. We do not want to engage their melee infantry here. That's it. And then we split off from the main group. Their melee infantry having braced to some degree. I got caught over there a little bit. But we want to get in there. So we've disrupted their formations now. Get in there and get rid of that fucking artillery. They've got artillery in that other army as well. Okay, we do not want to be fighting Storm Vermin at the start of this battle. Save that for the last, because we're not efficient against that. You want to save the stuff that you can't deal with well for the end of the battle. Deal with the stuff that you can deal with. And since we've got a cavalry army, we need to be killing missile units, because that's the role of cavalry. Well, it's supposed to be. The Plague Monk Censor Bearers will be okay to take out if we can isolate them. Okay, we didn't quite take out the artillery, and this guy's taking too much damage, but we're getting rid of these other units here, and at least the artillery wasn't shooting. A lot of the time, our cavalry just need to be running around just so that they try to chase us, so they open up their lines, because if they really want to do a good job, all they gotta do is like hold a good like squarish formation and wait for us to charge right into it, but they're gonna try to skirmish and protect their missile units in sort of inefficient ways, and that's what we need to capitalize on. That's it. Okay, we need to get over there, get rid of the artillery. Okay. Okay, we gotta go take out the artillery over here. Yeah, that's taking them a long time to bloody kill some basic units.
Dragon Princess. Move. Lawyer. Death to all. Dragon Princess.
Okay. I think we're okay here. God damn, they took a fucking long time there. Also, another thing to consider is that this army does seem to be full of fresh recruits. But at the same time, the enemy forces aren't exactly the most dangerous to a cavalry-based army ever. I've actually found that Skaven are fairly susceptible to cavalry. More so than, say, other factions. That's it. Take out the 3 units of artillery here.
Dragon Princess. Serve the king.
Don't need to worry too much about their flamethrowers. Okay, all 3 of their artillery pieces there have shattered. Move them out of there. Don't go charging in while there's melee units, especially if they're spearmen. Also, another thing is, we are caught on force march, so our guys aren't going to be quite as fast as what they otherwise could be. Alright, they got back on that artillery. We need to get over there, take it out, because even though it's an anti-infantry unit, it still fucking kills cavalry quite easily. These ones here are fairly isolated, but if I charge in here, they'll meet up with them. So let's draw them further away.
Serve the king. Quickly. We will obey. Yes.
Seems like they have a bit of trouble with night runners. Okay, this one here is taking on way too much there, but we got rid of the Globidia. Bounce of power has moved from not being in our favor to being in our favor. That's good. Alright, what we need to do now is just open this up. Also, this is a very good map for cavalry. Very good map. There's no trees in the way, so we're going to have our full combat potential. There's some hills here and there, so charging downhill here and there isn't so bad. Okay, good. Took that one out. Also, cavalry, really bad at taking out single entities. Really, really bad at it, especially on very hard battle difficulty. Okay, alright, those missile units there are ready for harvesting. Just gotta make sure my other units don't get caught in the meantime. Get around them, they're cut off. Gotta watch out for them. That's it. And let's go take out some missile units here. Good. See, when I use cavalry spams as Bretonia, the main reason why I do it is not because the armies are unstoppable. They're actually not. And they're kind of difficult to use. But it's possible as Bretonia to have completely free armies of cavalry, so they're just like, they just don't cost anything. So that provides a campaign advantage, right? Whereas it's not possible really. I mean, you can get cavalry free of upkeep as the high elves if you put enough frugal nobles into an army, and if you play on easy difficulty or whatever. But you got to put a lot of effort into that. Whereas all you got to do with Bretonia is, you know, do the vouchies, which is very easy to do. And you can get it done for multiple armies at once, whereas sticking, you know, however many frugal nobles you need to make one army free, I mean, it's not really ideal for the high elves, especially considering as well, upkeep just doesn't really matter that much to them, so you might as well just go all out power. Or, if not all out power, all out convenience. This is what I did in my almost undefeated high elf campaign. I recruited basic archers for the majority of the campaign, just because they were really easy to recruit. It only took one turn. Global recruit, can get loads of them straight away. And I didn't spend a lot of time recruiting Sisters of Avalon until we got their recruitment time down to one turn. Okay. Cool. Alright. Most of the missile units are dealt with now. And all of our forces are in the same area. So let's pull back. Hang on, it's gotta go. And what we want to do, once we've taken out all their missile units, we've got to identify the weak melee infantry. So we do not want to charge storm vermin, especially the halberd ones. Ideally, we want to just inflict the army losses on them. We still need to worry about that one coming back. No point trying to rest. We're caught in force march. They're going to be exhausted no matter what. Clan rats are a good choice because they're easy to break. And the Plague Monk Sensor Bearers, them having very little armor, will also help. So, looking at the weapon strength of a Dragon Prince, you know, they're not majority armor piercing. You know, they got a decent amount of it. But, you know, for a tier 5 unit that doesn't do tons of armor piercing, I don't know, I'm not really that impressed. What's going on there? Oh, okay. I'll send some guys over there. I'm not going to engage with them, just try to stand back a little bit.
Loyal. Dragon Princess. Weapons ready.
Alright, we can speed that up. There's not much going on there. So that looks like the last of their missile units. Let's go over there and sort them out since they're isolated. Bounce power's looking good. Damage isn't too bad either. I said I didn't want to use them. Stop it. I can't withdraw them from the battlefield. I tried to hide them over here, but you know, I didn't hide them very well. You know, we'll get over there and sort this out really quick. Now, when we send all of our forces to attack just 1 or 2 units, we break them really quickly because of the faster, stronger enemies penalty, which is one really good way for using cavalry-based armies. Now, another thing that I always say about cavalry-based armies that you need to have if you want to do it is speed above 75, which these guys do tick that box, so that's good. These are faster than most Bretonnian cavalry. Good, they're all hidden now. Alright, now we're going to deal with melee infantry. This is the kinda hard part. I mean, we took out all their most dangerous units. So now what we want to do is isolate some of their units. Because if we just go charge in there, we probably would win now. But boy, would we take a lot of damage. It's a tactically stupid thing to do. So I got them surrounded, but they're being a bit more passive now. So we might have to give them some bait. Since they appear to be out of missile units, but they might have some stalking ones. If we send someone close, we can maybe pull one out of it. Good, looks like we dodged that scorch. Like I said, I want to avoid storm vermin, even though that one's isolating. They're spreading out. Do you know what? See how this army does against an army of, like, longbeards. It won't do well. Because, you know, you can't really break them very easily. You know, they've got tons of armor, so all your armor piercing. You need more, basically. This unit here we got. Can't break them. Don't get me wrong, you can win, but it'll take you a lot longer than this. So the main thing here that we're trying to do isn't necessarily kill them, but to rout them. Because once they rout, faster, stronger enemies nearby penalty. Once they rout, all their stats go to 0. Okay, a few guys over here. But yeah, gotta be careful, because if we charge in, it might seem like they're isolated, why not just charge in right now? The thing is, if it takes us too long to kill them, then these guys catch up and then they bloody wreck us. And we are not good against the Hell Pit Abomination there, not at all. We should try to avoid that. Because, you know, these guys here don't have a bonus versus large. And it says, actually no, it doesn't say anti-infantry. they're not anti-anything.
Dragon Princess.
And having those stats, like those specialty stats, is really important. Because what the bonus versus large or infantry means is extra melee attack. Which, you know, could mean like 17%, if it was 17 that is. 17% extra chance of hitting, which is a pretty big deal. If you had like 50% chance to hit and then suddenly went up to 67, that's a significant amount more that each unit is going to hit. Alright, we're going to hit here.
Dragon Princess.
Legend, why don't you use lance formation? Oh, well, I'm such an idiot.
Seal.
Where'd it go?
It will be done. Dragon Princess. Can I be
So yeah, we want to avoid storm vermin. Got lots of armor, a fair amount of
without fail? Dragon Princess.
leadership. Just not a good idea. Take out the clan rats first. Okay, look, this one here is Storm Vermin Sword and Shields, and it is isolated, so I think a three-way horse sandwich motherfucker should be fine. So, yep, good amount of damage. But does it finish it off? Yeah, it did. Okay, cool. That was pretty good.
Asurian guides us.
Man, it's been so long since I used my old catchphrase, it actually feels alien to me now. Horse sandwich, motherfucker!
Asa, advance.
I just don't say it anymore. Because that's the thing, you know, I came onto the scene doing Medieval 2 battles, where cavalry dominates. And we end up playing Warhammer 2, where cavalry does not dominate. Archer sandwich, motherfucker! It doesn't have the same ring to it.
Dragon Princess. We go.
Okay, let's head over to here, maybe try and kill that one. They're not great against single entities, but I don't know, he's isolated. Maybe we should just charge it and see how they go. I mean, at the end of the day, this isn't supposed to be tactical brilliance. It's supposed to see how well this army actually does. I think we've done well enough at this point that we can justify charging in there, and if they don't win, then they can get a 0 out of 10 sort of thing. Because the bounce power is in our favor.
Shall be done. Dragon
Alright, let's go.
for the king. As you say.
Missed.
The king. March. Apace. Good. We advance.
Don't worry about this guy too much.
Order. Dragon
Try to avoid those storm vermin. Or at least try to avoid the front of the storm vermin unit.
forward. Assyrian ready. Setting forth. Who? Assyrian guides us. Attack! Lakoi. Onward. Understood.
Few feign charges just to disrupt their bracing.
Sit up.
And let's see how this goes. Feign charge to try to prevent them from coming in here. Alright, let's see how that goes for damage. Very stupid attack this, I wouldn't normally do it, but we're here to test these guys out. Let's see how they do in a big stupid blob charging in there.
Get to work.
Otherwise it's going to take us half an hour to isolate each individual one of them.
Swiftly. We will obey.
And we can see some of these units getting pretty badly wrecked, although that one there is kind of isolated. Surrounded, I mean.
Dragon Princess. Swiftly. Asa advance.
Should we cycle charge?
Asa advance.
This guy here's getting wrecked, pull him out.
Understood. Orders received. Dragon Princess. Without fail, Assyrian guides us. Moving out. Forward.
See, they do get stuck pretty easily.
Dragon Princess. Move.
But the bounce of power is pushing
We advance.
in our favor. Yeah, just let that one's done now. Actually, why don't you go fight that one?
Setting forth.
Yeah, the Plague Monk Sensor Bearers are no problem.
Without fail. Sail.
Okay, they're not braced over here.
Make Alquan proud. Asa, advance! It will be done.
Just try to keep on charging.
Battle calls. Dragon princes, to battle! Quickly now. For duty.
Try to get our guys over here.
You're there. Loyal.
Too much damage there.
Serve the king. Dragon princes, we away. For Alquan.
Alright, there's the army losses.
For duty. It will be done.
Honestly, they weren't really doing a great job against the Storm Vermin here. If they didn't have the army losses, we would have really struggled with that.
Asa, move.
So I reckon we took about 30% of our total damage that we did take in this battle, just in this stupid engagement here. Anyway, that's done. Still got a heroic victory. Now, as I said before, just because we won doesn't make this army a 10 out of 10. Because I know that if I had an army of Bretonnian Knights of the Realm, which I would not classify as a Doom stack, I only do it because it's free, I could have won that as well. And with the Knights of the Realm, they can handle the Hell Pit Abomination. And also, losing them is not that big of a deal because they're quite easy to replace. Grail Knights would have absolutely obliterated them as well. About to the same extent as these guys here. But again, Grail Knights are more convenient to recruit as Bretonnia.
Lesser beings, fit only.
Whatever, I'm not here to test that crap out.
Battle.
So now let's have a look at Imric and see how it's been leveled up and see how much more potential they could possibly put into this to make it, perfect. And then I'll sort of rate it based on what its potential could be. Alright, so looking at Imric, we never go down the hang on a second. Oh yeah, that's one for the Dragon Princes. Okay, I just wanted to make sure he actually went down the proper red line. He didn't go down this side here, which he absolutely should have. So this one here could have given them 5% physical resistance, extra melee defense, and armor. Armor doesn't matter that much, but the extra melee defense would have been good. Of course, these guys here haven't reached tier 7, so that's not that big a deal. If you're going to build the Doom stack, this isn't built very well. Having a look at some of this other stuff here. Armor for the Lord's Army, that's great. After about 100 armor, it doesn't really matter that much more anymore. Fire resistance is good, leadership's fine. Speed for cavalry units, that's very good. You could very easily give that to Silver Helms. Recruit rank, charge bonus for cavalry, okay. Physical resistance for Dragon Princes. Melee defense for Dragon Princes, yep. Yeah, the thing is, the Dragon Princes don't actually have flame attacks, so getting Ashen Fields isn't really doing anything for us there. If you use the Fire Wizard and pop down Flaming Sword of Ruin, you can imbue them with fire and magical damage, which, is actually good for Imric, assuming that you're not going up against Iron Drakes, because even if you have Ashen Fields, they're still resistant to fire there. Did you finish all the technologies that you needed to do? I actually don't know which ones, because I never looked for it. Which ones provide... Okay, that charge bonus for Dragon Princes, you didn't do that. Is that it? You just get that charge bonus plus 10? You can't boost them by very much. Oh, no, you got this one here. Okay, so you did do that. Ward save for Dragon Princes and 5 melee defense. I don't know if there's any more in here for Dragon Princes. Just because I just never recruit them. Alright, so in terms of convenience of recruiting, let me just see. If we were to recruit them globally, how long do they take for Imric? 4 turns. That probably means that they take 2 turns to recruit normally. They are recruited from... What building are they recruited from? He calls himself a high elf expert, doesn't know where they're recruited from. Where are they recruited from? They're recruited from the Dragon Building. Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, so that building is actually convenient to build because it provides our Lord Recruit rank as well, so I do tend to build this. I don't know why, but I have the feeling sometimes that they're recruited from this building. I just forget. It's actually the Phoenix Guard, the other shit unit that they have that's recruited from there. So... At the same tier as a Star Dragon, which do you think is better? Dragon Princes or Star Dragon. Yeah, you could look at the upkeep cost and be like, yeah, but the dragon is twice the price. Yeah, money doesn't mean anything to high elves. Once you're at tier 5, money's just sand on the beach. You know, just roll around in it, basically. It just doesn't matter. And considering the effectiveness, you know, a Star Dragon Doomstack can take on way more than a Dragon Prince Doomstack. Again, you can handle sieges, which that army, if we were going up against them, those Skaven in a walled settlement, there was no way we could have won without, you know, just using loads and loads of fire and just hoping that we get the army losses. You'll need like Vol's hammer in order to create breaches, just to hope that you can punch right through. Hiding your dragon princes before charging them through a gap can also be very useful during a siege. But yeah, basically I would not bring this army for a siege. It's only for field battles. And in the late stages of the campaign, the vast majority of your battles are probably going to be sieges, which I know are boring, but yeah, whatever. And dragons are good on the field and on sieges. And again, that life magic, that's what it's really all about. It doesn't really matter too much about, you know, all the boosts and stuff that Imric does. That's great and everything, but having the ability to heal 75% of its max health for each individual dragon in each battle is really useful for keeping them fresh. You don't need to ever, you know, sit back and replenish. You can put them in enemy territory and fight a battle, a small battle, and actually recover your damage. Sort of like what I did with the with that Wood Elf campaign as Arguelon, when I just like spammed loads of tree men and went bankrupt. I replenished by using life magic. So if a Dragon Doomstack, which I don't think is a 10 out of 10 Doomstack, but if we rated a Dragon Doomstack, Star Dragon that is, a 9 out of 10, where would a Dragon Prince Doomstack rate? Assuming, hang on, let me have a look at the traits here. He said this was resilient. That's actually protected. Passive ability Guardian, doesn't that only apply to heroes? Yeah, so that's actually a shit trait for the army, I guess. Whatever. And then you got Crushing here, charge bonus plus 10, and weapon strength plus 5%. That is good for a cavalry-based army. Yeah, that is good. I wouldn't put too many more in there, though. Maybe take this one out and put another Crushing Noble, but again, you don't need to. So yeah, if a Dragon Doomstack was a 9 out of 10, I would have to say that a properly buffed up with getting the technologies, getting the other, you know, red line skill, getting these ones to tier 7, assuming that had been done, I would probably rate it 6 out of 10. Basically, it's not a Doomstack, because it can't handle all situations. It is very micro intensive. Honestly, Skaven are pretty easy to deal with cavalry. Just about every other race are more difficult to deal with than Skaven, because Skaven are a sort of a low leadership race, even when playing on very hard battle difficulty. If you go up against a high leadership race like the Dwarfs, as I mentioned, that's really fucking hard to beat with cavalry. You can do it, but it's hard. Vampire accounts, because they don't rout, they can also be quite tricky, because, you know, you can crumble them, but you can't get them to actually run them down. And these guys here, I don't think they're immune to psychology, so they could actually end up routing against, you know, Vargulfs and Vargeists and all that kind of monsters as well. Whereas dragons, they're immune to psychology because they cause terror. There's just so many situations where these guys here will struggle. Like in a choke point battle, they're not going to do so well. So really, you need the ideal situation, which that really was. It was going up against an enemy that really wasn't that good against cavalry. It had a few anti-large units, but we avoided them easily enough. It was an open field battle with no obstructions in the way. There were no trees anywhere to lower our melee attack and speed. Some hills for us to go up and down, no problem. Very open, fairly large map. It was easy to maneuver around it. Yeah, I'd say this is probably a 6 out of 10 Doomstack, just because, like, they're good fighters and their stats are high, but that really shouldn't be the crux of what makes a Doomstack. It's utility and ease of use. These guys don't have utility and they don't have ease of use. And at tier 5, you've just got so many better options. So if you want to recruit Dragon Princes into your army, that's fine. You can get lots of kills with them. If you don't want to make a Doomstack, not a problem. But if you're trying to make a Doomstack and be like, look, it's really impressive, it's not really. There's way better options available to you. So that's my thoughts there. Let me know in the comments below what you think, whether you think I'm being fair or not fair to the Dragon Prince Doomstack, what you would rate it, and what you think that I might be missing in regard to rating it, because I think I was pretty thorough this time. Anyway, that's the end of this one here, guys. Appreciate you. If you've got any more Doomstacks, do keep sending them, but the bar is now set so high that unless it's really something that I totally didn't expect, probably I think we're done with rating Doomstacks. At least for Warhammer 2. We can always pick it up with Warhammer 3. We'll see how we go. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Appreciate you, and we'll see you next time, fuckers. Bye.